Keeping well. Thanks so much for tuning in to CLOG TV's Cocoa Digest Morning Show. Today we are having interesting discussions. We are having discussion on domestic violence, and on the lifestyle segments we are having discussions on gastric cancer. These are very prevalent in discussions or topics in the country right now, and therefore you would love to stay throughout the conversation. We have social media trends, and we also have discussions on what is happening in Ghana currently and on our news. But before then, let's take some motivational quotes for our day. And our motivational quotes for the day is from Jody Picoult, and he is saying that you don't love someone because they are perfect. You love them in spite of the fact that they are not. You don't love someone because they are perfect. You love them in spite of the fact that they are not. We have flaws. We are different, but we've been admonished once again to love in spite of the fact that they are not perfect. Thank you so much for listening to motivational quotes for the day. And you would want to reflect on this whilst you carry out your day's activities. Up next is the online print review. Please do stay.
CLOG TV, beyond the policy. CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.
If you just tuned in, this is Coco Digest Morning Show here on CLOG TV, and this is the online print segment. I have Ed Boateng on the screens, by the screens, for your social media trends. Edna, how are you?
Hi, Beatrice. I'm fine, and you?
You look good.
You don't look bad too.
Thank you.
You started your Valentine already.
Of course. All right, so what's happening on social media?
Welcome once again. This is what I have for you on social trends for today. And on our first story, the Member of Parliament for Sunyani East constituency tweeted yesterday, and it says, Sunyani is currently covered in thick smoke, leading to an eye irritation and breathing difficulties. We are all advised to take precautions by wearing masks or other protective gear to reduce exposure. So apparently there was a smoke-like weather yesterday, and this was the comments I had.
All right.
From Prince Asamoah, he says, Mr. Honorable, even though the safety measures you are trying to lay out there is important, but who are those causing the harm inhabitants of the area? They should be called because intended actions can cause us sickness. This started around 5 a.m. and I heard it is Zoom Lion.
Do we have the video so we can show it to our viewers?
Yes, we do. Let's take a look at the video.
All right, so that's the video of Sunyani yesterday. Wow. All right.
So the second comment is from the same Prince Asamoah, and he says, how can Zoom Lion be burning refuse, contaminating the air we are breathing within the Sunyani enclave, and no one is questioning them for disturbing the public health? Issues. I think this is so bad of them. At least we should have been given heads up. What do you say?
This situation is serious because we are already talking about air pollution, and the air we breathe in is causing harm to us. We spoke about galamsey, what is causing to our water bodies, and now the air we are breathing in is also polluted. So I think the authorities should put their foot down and get some solution to this.
Yeah. Moving on to our second story. Congratulations to our Honorable for Ayawaso West Wogon. That's Honorable John Dumelu. He has been nominated as the Deputy Minister for Agriculture designate, and we are giving him congratulations. But people have some one or two opinions about it because he is from the entertainment industry, so they were thinking he will be nominated as Minister for Tourism, but then also he is a farmer, right, Beatrice?
Yes.
Okay.
He grows pepper, ginger, cabbage, even deals in eggs, right? So I think the agriculture is the best for him. Moving on to our last story. This is sort of funny. Beatrice, when last did you buy beans for 3 cedis?
Charlie, beans for 3 cedis, dear. It could be. Even
Let's take a look at
within
this.
the ministries, the beans I buy, I don't eat much. I have a small stomach sack, and I buy beans worth of about 20 cedis. Just look at it.
So,
and 3 cedis, I check.
Is trending on X right now because she's doing her business like for free, since others are selling beans for 20 cedis and she is selling hers as low as 3 Ghana cedis.
Wow, Olonka crying. All right.
And this is what commenters had to say about it. It's clear Davy isn't doing her business for profit. She just loves to feed people. And that's all I have for you on today's trends. Over to you, Beatrice.
All right. Thank you so much, Edna. We'll see you on the lifestyle segment. So I have with me here Nana Sari and Clemencia Bankwe to discuss what is happening on the graphics. Hello, guys.
Hello, B.
How are you?
By grace, we are fine.
You look good.
Yeah, thank you. We are
Just,
up and
you look tired.
we are up and we are grateful. You know, we always want to bring you premium and then top-notch entertainment. So we have to do the extra hours.
Exactly.
And then we have to bring you premium and top-notch content. So Clement, we work up and above the hours that
24 hours.
Normal people, yeah. and we are in the 24-hour economy, so yeah, we are just bracing ourselves. Yes, definitely. But you look so very lovely this morning.
Thank you.
Very, very red, husband-inspired.
Very.
All right, I have nothing to say about this.
You better.
Please, if you love what I'm wearing, you can follow me on my socials, Beatrice Bampuado, and I'll give you information about everything. Why did this for me? All right, so what is happening on our newspapers? Clement, go.
I think I will just start from where Edna ended. That's the
about Dumelo.
Yes, about Dumelo. It was
honorable.
Deputy Minister designated for Agri.
Yeah.
When you go through Dumelo's profile, there's nothing like his culture. I was going through it. I realized he went to Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, JIMPA. He also went to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and Achimota School. So
what did he study there?
Yeah, so that is really what I'll just get to you in short time. So looking at all this, and his lifestyle has been about entertainment. People, as she said, people were thinking he can fit best at the entertainment, let's say, industry or the Ministry of Tourism. But he's a farmer. And one post I saw about him is like he loved farming.
Yes.
He loved farming. So I think it's out of passion. That is why President John Dramani Mahama appointed him to that sector. And it's a good thing, I would say, because he's a first-time MP. We have a lot of MPs there, former ministers for agriculture, they are all there. So he getting this opportunity is also a good thing, and also it's an information to the youth that in as much as we have a lot of big people out there, the youth also can equally do what the big men can do. And looking at the appointment of President John Dramani Mahama, I could see a lot of the youth, less than 50 years, a lot of them are part of his appointment. I think that is a very good thing. I just wanted to walk viewers through the appointment so far. I think before Nana comes in to talk about John Dumelo. So in the aspect of Ministry of Finance, that's the Deputy Minister. We have Thomas Nyakon Ampim. He is the one for the Ministry of Finance designate. We also have Ebenezer Telibi, that's Ministry of Interior. We have Ministry of Defense, Ernest Broja Jemfi, Ministry of Defense. We also have Ministry of Education, Clement Apak, Ministry of Education. There's one funny thing that happened yesterday on my stats. I just want to say, when I posted the Minister of Education deputy on my stat, someone just came to my DM, congratulations, you're a deputy minister. And I was like, you didn't read the message, or it's not Clement Square, it's Clement Park. Okay. So that's just by the way. Right. We also have a Ministry for Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah. I think he's one MP at the Central Region. We also have Minister of Roads and Highways Deputy Al-Hassan Saibu Suhini, yes, also at the northern part, an MP. We have Minister of Justice and Attorney General Justice Siriam Sai. We also have Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Yusuf Suleimana. We have Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. We have Retana Odale Stoa. I think she's just around us. Yes, the MP just around us. We also have Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources. That is Tete, that's a sister of Hannah Tete. Tizela Tete. We also have Ministry of Tourism and Culture and Creative Arts. Steve Isaika Jaja. So people are thinking that Ministry of Tourism, at least we have someone like A+, those, yes, and those people. But I think Yusuf also knows things pertaining to culture and tourism. So I think it's a good thing there. And just to the last one, Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Samson Ahin. So far so good. The total ministers for John Dramani Mahama is 55. And he says he's going to do 60. So 5 more. But I think before Nana comes in again, I would say that these are 13 deputy ministers. We know the ministries he created recently is 23. So 13 out of 23, we have 10 ministries left. And now he's left with 5 ministers to appoint, or deputy ministers. So the question is, which ministry is not going to have deputies? And which ones are going to have deputies? This talk, we will have it another day. So I'll just let Nana.
So, Nana, John Dumelo has been walking the talk. It looks like he has already prepared himself for the position. And I think it's worth it. Sure. He doesn't have a qualification with that background. He has told us, or let us see what he is capable of. And I think this reflects in the nominations done by President John Dramani Mahama so far. I think the people are qualified for the positions. What do you have to say?
Well, the nomination we start with the nominations by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I should say so far by just the profiles and then the qualifications of the people that he's put in place. For instance, you look at Dominica Ayine for Attorney General's Department. You look at Marriott Abreu and the likes for the positions that they are occupying in this particular government, and you realize that he's not missed it at all. Certain areas where you see that there's potential for growth in, or certain areas that are sort of maybe stabilized a little, and they just need a little bit of direction, and they'll grow. He's actually put the right people in charge. He's put people that are, I don't want to be like a pro-NDC speaker, but put people that are likely to step up to the challenge. Sure. Because John Dumelo has been in the limelight for quite a number of reasons, including his acting career and all that. And now, all of a sudden, he stopped being in the limelight for that particular purpose, and then he sort of rebranded himself as Farmer John, as popularly he's called on Twitter. But I had some discussions with him sometime back in 2015, thereabouts, before the 2016 general elections. 2019, thereabouts, before the 2020 elections. And after that particular discussion, you'd realize that maybe he needed some more planning to do. And then when he did just that in 2024, he's back, and then he's back with all guns blazing. And I think his appointment, for instance, as the deputy minister designate for Agric, is a step in the right direction, because it's something that he's brought to the limelight that he does. Yes. So it's a challenge for accountability from all of us. I think that's what usually is done. MPP does it, NDC does it. So I think the business goes on as usual. So hopefully he does a very good job when he steps up, and I'm wishing him all the best. Congratulations to him. What do you have trending? So, talking about trending news, 2 additional people. We talked about that on Tuesday, I should say, concerning the hooliganism that occurred at the football park. 2 additional people have been arrested to join the 3 that were earlier arrested. But out of the 3 that were earlier arrested, 1 of them was remanded, still in police custody. The other 2 were granted bail. That's Ignatius Bafuewa, and I should get his name right. But so Ignatius Bafuewa, for instance, has been asked to reappear before to report himself to the police station. His passport has been seized, but he's been granted bail with surety. There were 2 sureties of over 500,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
And I mean, for someone like him, it shouldn't be a problem. So that's what's been done there, and he's been asked to reappear at the Nsatre court. Yes, at the Sunyane court on 17th February. So that's when the hearing of his case will actually commence. Okay. And we hope that justice is served, and we hope that the people who committed such atrocities or committed that crime, that heinous crime, that when someone is going to watch a football, the person will not return to his family. The people or the perpetrators are brought to book. I mean, it's just like we live, we learn, and then hopefully such occurrences will not occur to plague our Ghanaian football again.
Okay. Clement, you have something to say to them?
Yes, so mine is about the Hajj. That's our brothers and sisters in the Muslim community.
Pilgrim.
Yeah, so I think currently the amount has been reduced from what we normally know, and it's now 62,000 Ghana cedis. 62,000 Ghana cedis per yes, per person, which is 4,130 United States dollars. So last year and last 2 years it was 75,000 Ghana cedis. So it has been reduced approximately by 13,000. Yeah, so it's a good news for our people. And we believe that this time around they will all go their numbers and pray for Ghana and also pray for us.
Right. Okay. So let's move to our stories. A 4-month-old infant has died in a horrific fire outbreak near Kisiman Junction near Achimota, Samodak. More than 20 wooden homes and their content were destroyed by the fire, which started in the early hours of yesterday. The Ghana National Fire Service responded quickly, but the baby lost his life. While the cause of the fire is still being investigated, the baby's burn remained and have to be turned over to the police for additional examination. So that's a sad story. I think that's John Dumelo's constituency. Yeah, because yesterday I saw him there. I was watching the news and I saw him there.
So there are some parts of Achimota that falls within the Ayawaso West Wogon, some parts of Westlands, some parts of East Legon or East Legon and Jowlu Airport West, thereabouts. They form the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency. So step in the right direction. First call of action. Let's see how he responds to these particular. It looks like everyone that has been appointed, there are certain specific incidences that are occurring that are sort of showing whether or not they are up to the task. So hopefully he responds well, and then condolences to the family of the baby that has lost their lives. It's actually a painful thing for you to give
4 months old.
For you to give birth, carry your baby in 9 months, but we also have to talk about these things. It's a lot of things that trigger it. Now, people are living in wooden structures, in slums in and around that particular area, and now we have to talk about our town planning. And then also, even when you take your eye or your mind away from the town planning, now you have to talk about how do you call it? You have to talk about rent control and then rents, because a lot of people want to live in just want something good to live in, but they can't afford it. Now almost all the young men that are supposed to live and work in and around our cities are being pushed towards Sawam, beyond Kaswa. I mean, far off, and then foreigners who actually come, and then or people who earn large amounts of money who can afford rent in and around these place, and then those are the ones that we've exploited our rental space so much that finding an affordable housing unit to live in, people are spending 80% of their salaries on rent alone. Talk less about food, electricity, utilities, and all those things. So it's something that we need to actually set down, and then set, maybe I think for some certain areas we'll set some, I don't know how, whether we can do it. We'll set some price controls or some price ceilings on some rental units that so that also puts the landlords
because when
in
you
check.
look at the Cantamanto incident is from the wooden structures that escalated the fire.
Because people,
it could have been kept.
Those who are in Cantamanto are very wealthy, if I should say. They work and then they get a lot of money, but maybe where they are renting is in and around in Sawam, and tomorrow morning he has to be there by 4 a.m. So you end up sleeping in the shop and go to his house over the weekend. If we have affordable rental spaces and we have regulations restrict, someone can be selling single room self-contained, not even properly done, and then you go and ask for the rent. They tell you 3,000 cedis, and it's absurd. It's absurd. How many? The average salary of Ghanaians at the moment is 2,800 Ghana cedis. So I'm not trying to.
And you can walk also.
A survey done in 2021 showed that the average salary of individuals in Ghana is 2,800. Now you look at rental prices and you realize that at least 60% of people's rents are being used to people's salaries are being used to pay rent every month, and it's sad.
Talk less of electricity and all that.
And then when the landlords to come, they don't take 6 months, they don't take 1 year. They tell you they want 2 years. And I mean, so those that are paying rent are really going through it.
Yes, we are really going through it.
Oh, you're paying rent.
Yes, we are. It's not easy. It's not easy. So, I think on the issue of slums, I might say that it's a big problem that we need to deal with, especially in Greater Accra.
Okay.
And I would plead with the regional minister who has been approved, and she has started working. So I'll plead that she take a critical look at this incident, because today it's Achimota, tomorrow it can be other places. Yesterday on our way home, we saw an area, and I was like, how do they live? It's difficult, as Nana is saying. It's not they are doing to live in such places. They wish to also afford the houses that others are affording, but they can't. So they end up in this wooden structure. So if these people are in the wooden structure, what are the measures put in place for them? What can the fire service do as quick as possible? Yes, they did very well to respond very quick. They said they were called as at 4 a.m. And within 12 minutes, they were there, and by 5 a.m., they were able to quench the fire. That's a good thing of them. But before this...
this within an hour, not to cut you, within an hour, and then we've recorded a casualty. So you should know how serious these towns and then rental... sorry for cutting you.
Yeah. So I think, the fire service, before these people start their structure, I don't know how they're going, but if they are going to start the structure again, then the fire service needs to step in, give them ways, especially the fire extinguishers and the areas that they are supposed to put them.
But if your wood is dry, the firewood is
because automatically, you see, the issue of the market, recent, is it Cantamanto? Yes, see, the fire service came out that they should relax for them to step in, but they've already constructed the place. They have nothing to do again. So I think with this incident of slum, one, we should get easy access. They should be, if they are going to still be in that place and they are still going to be in a wooden structure, then they should have easy access of roads,
routes for fire service, emergency responses,
for emergency response and all these things. And I think at the end of the day, it boils down to government, it boils down to NGOs. So I believe they should more education to our own people, that if you want to put up a structure, let's do this way, let's do it that way. On the issue of renting, as Nana talked about, it's a headache. You see a young man who wants to start life in, and as Nana said, maybe at the end of the month you take 2,000 and you are paying rent 1,000 cedis at the end of the month, or 800. Your transportation has not come, your utility bills has not come. So at the end of the day, how much are you saving? And how much are you putting down for I was speaking to a friend, I was like, hey, before I buy a car, you to keep long.
You're thinking about a car.
It will keep quite long. You see, so all these things, I believe that they should look into it. And the rent control department should take a critical look at it. In our laws, they said you can rent for 6 months. You can rent for 2 months, 3 months. But when you go to grounds B, it's not working. It's not working. The landlord will take 6 months.
How can they enforce these things?
That is the point.
So Beatrice, this takes me back to the vetting process of Linda Oklu. the
Greater Accra
Greater
Regional
Accra Regional
Minister.
Minister designates. Now this is an area. You know, when Clement was talking, he was just like, I don't know how they are going to do it. Yeah. So if we had listened to her, or the vetting team had done their job, some of these questions
and there would have been suggestions.
And then there would have been suggestions.
Very brilliant ones.
So that we can all have it in our mind and hold her to a certain level of accountability based on her responses. But now you just tell the woman to come and sit down. You have Honorable Titus Glover sitting behind you. You have Henry Corte sitting behind you. You have good people advising you. You're in good company. Go. And these are people, and you know, when someone says that there are allegations of you receiving bribe, definitely the general public is going to believe it, because your conduct is showing that you are not performing to the highest standard that is required of you. So, Beatrice, this particular thing,
affordable housing. Let the ordinary person,
our former minister,
yes, let our ordinary people get access to this affordable housing. You see, at the end of the day, the affordable housing doesn't get to the layman.
No, but maybe it was part of their campaign message. But
the affordable housing,
they didn't come
it has
power.
been there. Affordable housing has been there since the era of President.
They have to look at it.
Yes,
I mean,
so it is affordable.
Since the days of His Excellency, one of the greatest presidents, or arguably the greatest president Ghana has ever had, Kwame Nkrumah, he demarcated areas for these affordable housing units. He demarcated areas that custom service workers will live, demarcated areas where military personnel will live, demarcated areas where civil service staff are going to live. He demarcated areas where, like, a lot of these people, and then all of these things, they are bungalows and then they are affordable housing units, and it's on a working paper. He had like a 30 or 40-year-old developmental plan, which is not being followed. And now the way our politics has become, until we sit down, NDC, MPP, CPP, PNC, everyone sits down now, and we have all the stakeholders coming together and say that let's have a 30-year developmental plan, let's have a 20-year developmental plan, irrespective of who comes into power. Make sure that these elements of the developmental plan are being considered for development, and not that today someone will come and say, I want to build a cathedral because I have this thing with God, and then tomorrow another person will come and say that I have to do a confirm or something.
On that cathedral and a confirm note, let's move to our next story. The Ghana Great Company, Great Co, and the Electricity Company of Ghana wish to inform the public that the West African Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO, has commenced maintenance work on the gas pipeline from Nigeria to Ghana to be carried out from yesterday, that was February 5 to March 2, 2025. According to the statement issued by WAPCO, gas supply to thermal plants in Tema from Nigeria, as well as gas transported via reverse flow from Takoradi to Tema, will be curtailed to allow for cleaning of the pipeline, that is pigging, and the replacement of some subsea equipment. So I think maintenance is a good direction.
Yes,
talking about gases is very highly inflammable.
It's very good.
It's very good.
It's very good.
But looking at the consequences of this is what we should be tackling.
Yes, so this issue actually should have been taking place somewhere last year, October, November. It was postponed to somewhere January, of which I think the current administration realized that if care is not taken, we would go back to the doomsday situation. So they need to quickly put up some committee together to work around it. And thanks be to God that the WAPCO agreed to postpone maintenance to, that's yesterday, February. And I think it's going to last for about a month. From February to March 2nd. And the question is, over the weeks, people have been talking about the alternative means. And the only alternative means the committee gives to the people of Ghana is to get liquid fuel. Yes, to power the Tema plant, so that we can still get power or get electricity. Because without that, then there should be a low shadow where our communities would have light, others won't have light. And I think that is something the government doesn't really want to experience, because we know our past records of
yes, we don't want to tag him to do so again.
Exactly. So don't want to tag him. So he needs to work things out. And when you look at the statement, as you said, he said that they have procured quite a number of fuel, and that fuel is going to last at least for that duration. That's 1 month. We are still going to have light in our various offices and our various homes. So we want to tell them that yes, they've done well. Yes, and the Energy Ministry, they've really done well to quickly put in some measures so that at the end of the day we don't suffer.
Do you remember there was about 2% increment in fuel prior to their statements being released?
I mean,
I don't know whether the competitiveness and the competition in the fuel markets that has led to the increase.
I mean, there's one thing about fuel increment, and I'm sure this may actually be a factor that they had actually had an arrangement with our government to make sure that there's the cleaning or the servicing of the pipelines from that's around October. But because of the election, it was delayed and all that. And then we realized that when NDC assumed power, there were just only 5 hours of fuel left as at December 7. That would, after that would be able to cater for us and our electricity needs. So they had to, I'm sure one of the strategic conversations that John Mahama had with Tinubu when he came to his inauguration was how to arrange or how to postpone that particular one. And then, we actually buy the fuel too on credit so that we can actually up our credit. And I'm sure that negotiations should have gone on. And then they were like, if fuel is going to come in this particular regard, then maybe this is the price that we're going to get on. That's one thing on its own. But we know that hydroelectric power has accounted for 30 to 40% of Ghana's energy mix since it has been the backbone. And then apart from that too, 50% or 60% of Ghana's thermal plants are powered by natural gas, crude oil. So these are factors that are going to play, and it goes to show that we really need the liquid fuel for our electricity or electric production. And now this is the case where we didn't have that in place. And John Jinapor came out and came to actually say it, and it was a good thing that he came into public to say it. And then arrangements were made to make sure that was kept. So we can stick a feather in the heart of the Mahama administration for this particular thing that they've done, and they've done it well. But another thing that we have to also consider is that have they actually procured the liquid fuel that's enough for that particular 1 week period? Because all things being equal, when you order the fuel, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for it to come. So if you took power in, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for it to be confirmed, and it takes a further 4 to 6 weeks for it to be transported to our shores or to Ghana. So
where are they getting that from?
Getting it from Nigeria. Nigeria is the one who helps us power our hydro. So
the gas is from them, the fuel too is from them.
So usually the electric fuel and all that we call them gas for this particular purpose. So if now this is the case, and on paper it should take 6 to 8 weeks. And now since the Mahama administration came, we've just had how many weeks? We've just had about 4 weeks, approximately a month. Today's what's it?
Today's
I think just a month.
So just maybe a day to a month to the Mahama administration, and then we have this thing in place. That means we should actually ask some questions. It takes 6 to 8 weeks, but in 4 weeks we are going to shut down the gas pipeline again, and then we are going to see whether we have. So we have to find out whether we have enough liquid fuel. And
so
if
you want to counter that?
Yeah,
are you
so
done with the submission?
Per the statement from GridCo and ECG, let me just read a portion. It says that this means that thermal plant in Tema will not have gas to operate and would have to shut down. To minimize the impact on power supply in the country, stakeholders in the energy sector led by the Ministry of Education and Green Transition have procured volumes of liquid fuel for some generating plants that have the capacity to operate on alternative fuel to enable them to remain in operations during this period.
So they are just reducing the impact.
Yes, they are reducing the impact.
So we should expect
January, when they took over, they've actually started the process of procuring. And initially, we normally procure from other countries aside Nigeria. That takes us...
You have Benin and Togo?
No, I think I want to get the name.
Nigeria supplies to Benin and Togo in Ghana.
Initially, when we are buying fuel, we buy it from other countries. I was having a day, but I've forgotten the name. Aside Nigeria. So that takes us a period of 6 weeks, sake of the loading and the shipment. And when it comes to Tema, we need to do treatment. So about 6 weeks. So the alternative means was that we can equally get it from Nigeria, which might not take us that long time, because they were like, transporting fuel from Nigeria to Ghana is not that, it won't take time. So that would be the alternative. But I don't really know where they got it from, if it was from Nigeria or it's from other countries they used to. But what they are telling us is that the fuels are in. And because as at yesterday, WAPCO has shut down supply of gas. So if WAPCO has shut down supply of gas, it means that the liquid fuel needs to be in operation. I think that is what is in operation. I side with Nana on the part that he said that we don't know the volumes, whether it can really sustain us. That is something they didn't really tell us. Is it going to sustain us? I think for about 4 weeks, they were telling us the amount of money we are supposed to spend in procuring this liquid fuel. The question, do we really spend that amount of money, or we spend more than that? So these are the things we expect the Minister of Energy to communicate to Ghanaians. That is the quantity that they procured. Is it really enough? The money that they told us we are going to spend, is that what we spend, or we spend less than? So that people can actually... Exactly, there'll be transparency.
All right.
Yeah. No. So Ghana imports fuel from countries like the UK, Netherlands, Switzerland, Panama, Singapore, and Cote d'Ivoire. And surprise, surprise, Ghana also produces oil. So, so these are our top partners when it comes to
those countries would take more weeks.
Yes, normally 6 weeks.
If I should ask you, Ghana and the UK, who produces more oil? That will baffle you. But
we only have 10%.
Who does?
We only have 10% in the oil that we extract in Ghana.
Yeah, but
only 10%.
You do not produce. We did not have 10% prior. We had 100%.
Exactly.
So what happened to the 90?
Another conversation.
All right. So what is trending again? Yesterday, I saw the chairman of the appointments committee. Yes. Being questioned and
So
there was an incident too. I'm sure you'd elaborate.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that. They've started the issue of probing into the chaotic scene. And yesterday we saw the majority leader as a witness. We saw the former majority chief whip, that's the current minister for roads, also there. We saw the chairman also there. I think the chairman made a lot of a lot of points. I wouldn't say it could be, but he made a lot of points there. And at the end of the day, I think they will still sit today.
So the chairman for the appointment?
Yes, the chairman for the appointment committee.
Chairman for the investigation committee?
No, the chairman for the appointment committee.
Yes, not Emmanuel Bedra.
No. So he was there to be interrogated.
So there was a scene where the clerk, who they are alleging is part of the NDC and is conspiring against the NPP. They were interrogating her, and then there was a call, or the main clerk whispered to the committee that they should halt the process. I don't know whether you witnessed that too.
They halt the process because they were supposed to have a meeting in the chamber, parliamentary sitting. That's in the chamber. So just after that interrogation, they all moved back into the chamber because they are supposed to have some settings on 1 or 2 issues. So that is what they quickly went in to do.
All right. I thought it was something else.
No.
Okay, so this is where we end our online print review segment. And next is the lifestyle segment. Please do stay.
CLOG TV. Beyond the policy. CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.
You know what? Untouchable, me bomb me fire no now.
On your screens, do well to send in your comments. Let's get interactive. I have with me a person from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in person of Dr. Robert N.T. Kwame Ayi, and we will be discussing about prevention of gastric cancer. We'll be talking about its risk factors, its symptoms, and technical advancements in treatment. In so doing, grab a coffee and stay with us as we start the conversation. Hello, doctor. Hello, doctor.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing also?
I'm doing perfectly fine. Since World Cancer Day was on Tuesday, can you tell us a little about cancer?
Yeah, for sure. So I would just like to thank you for having me on your show. So yeah, just a little bit about cancer.
Okay.
Cancer is not a good thing. I will be using cancer and CA interchangeably, okay?
Okay.
So as I mentioned at the previous session I had the other day, the CA refers to an unregulated growth. Typically, we look at tumors. When someone says that they have a tumor, it just means that they might have one that is either cancerous or non-cancerous. And so the one that is non-cancerous typically tends to stay within like it's confined. It doesn't spread beyond its boundaries. However, one that is cancerous, cancer in Latin means crab, so it tends to extend into places beyond its boundaries locally and also travels far beyond where it's originally located. So that is what a cancer is. Not a good guy.
Okay, so our topic for discussion this morning is prevention of gastric cancer, and I would want you to explain what gastric cancer means.
Great. Yeah. So gastric cancer, gastric is like an adjective for stomach. Okay. So a stomach cancer refers to a cancer of the stomach. So based on the picture you just displayed, there are different areas within the stomach where the cancer can develop. And we're typically looking at different cells within the stomach.
Okay.
God created the body so that cells would grow to a certain limit, to a certain potential, and then stop growing. However, with the cancers, there are specific inciting agents that cause the cells to grow autonomously and then start to invade certain structures. That's typically what gastric cancer is about. And we really need to explore the things that put a person at risk of developing a stomach cancer
Right.
for this show, for the gastric cancer awareness, particularly the things that one can prevent. So when we look at the things that predispose the person to developing a condition, those are what we call risk factors. And so for gastric CA, we have risk factors. With the risk factors, we can split them into two. The things that you can do something about to prevent the condition, and the things that you can do absolutely, well, close to nothing, which is predominant genetic when we look at genetic syndromes.
Okay.
But specifically for the modifiable risk factors, that's something that you can do something about to prevent the disease. Look, on top of the list is what we call the H. pylori infection. That's Helicobacter pylori.
Yeah.
It is a bacterium. Helicobacter pylori is a very bad guy. Like you might have heard people say African giants don't kill. Au contraire, it does more than kill. It is a very dangerous thing, and it's commonly acquired through an oral fecal transmission route. Oral fecal just means from poop to mouth.
Okay.
Similar to the way cholera
Okay.
is acquired and other diarrheal diseases. However, the H. pylori doesn't cause the diarrhea. It rather causes some kind of dyspepsia.
Okay.
So that feeling bloated, having reflux, okay, where the gastric content tends to come up your esophagus and into your mouth. You know, when you eat late at night and you go and lie down,
Yeah.
you might start to feel the food coming up.
Yes.
So that is a similar thing that H. pylori can do. You might not even be lying down, and you might have that sensation. You might start to feel very gassy after eating.
Okay, so Doc.
These are some of the symptoms of having H. pylori infection.
Okay, so Doc, so are the symptoms of gastric cancer the same as symptoms of H. pylori?
Not necessarily. So what H. pylori can do is H. pylori can cause an ulcer. Okay, so first of all, it can inflame the stomach lining and cause what we call a gastritis.
Yeah.
It can also cause an inflammation of the upper intestine called the duodenitis.
Okay.
After which it causes an ulcer of the stomach or the duodenum or even both occasionally. And when people say, "Oh, I have an ulcer," it might either be gastric or duodenal. But more often than not, it is caused by the Helicobacter pylori infection. And so if this is long-standing, if the ulcer is long-standing, the thing is, H. pylori doesn't just disappear. It needs to be treated. And so if it doesn't disappear, if a person has it and doesn't seek treatment, is going to persist. And then years, many years later, the cancer properties of the infection start to surface. And so the cancer moves from being a benign cancer to becoming a malignant cancer. Okay. And so the person will still have the symptoms of that H. pylori ulcer, but will have superimposed symptoms of the gastric cancer. Some of the symptoms of the gastric cancer are fairly subtle. The person will be able to eat as much as they usually would. Also having abdominal distension, the belly just becomes big. And also that's what people typically call bloating.
Right. So
also vomiting.
Okay.
Vomiting a lot, which is very effortless. The food that comes up out of the mouth, or we call it gastric outlet obstruction.
Okay.
And also vomiting blood and also pooping blood.
That's a lot. All right, so I have an image on the screen. I want to ask you a question. I have an image on the screen, and then there's a section circled in a yellow color. Is that a cancer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like this image because it's very benign. It's not going to make anyone pass out. If in real life it might look a little different from this.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't always look like this. You might not see it yellow this way. It might look pink. It doesn't always look like this.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
right.
so that's the cancer. It's all based on where it's okay. A lot of them okay a little lower down. So.
Okay. So how often should a person check himself to detect early signs of possible gastric cancer? How often should one check him or herself?
Okay. So the thing about gastric CA is that a lot of the symptoms, it might largely be asymptomatic, that it might largely go without symptoms until the cancer might be a little advanced.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's why we need to really hammer on the preventive aspects or hammer on some of the symptoms of the H. pylori infection.
Yeah.
So that's how, so if a person has, red flag, if a person has the bloating, the reflux, okay, and the pain, stomach pain after eating, or stomach pain when a person is hungry, these are red flags, and a person needs to seek medical attention so that if an ulcer is detected through various investigations, one of which can be an upper endoscopy, where a camera is introduced through the mouth and passed into the stomach to inspect the stomach, and then also take some biopsies, which is a piece of the cells, the pink parts that you see, for analysis. And then we see that, okay, well, this isn't a malignant, this isn't like cancerous, but the person has H. pylori, and then a person is treated. Although there are less invasive ways of detecting whether a person has H. pylori, where we assess the stool.
Okay. So.
But then I'll just quickly need to mention that although H. pylori is a really bad guy, there are other things that that one can specifically modify, which is their diet. So making sure that we smoked food and foods that are really, really, really high in salt.
Yes, I was actually coming to this question. That what lifestyle changes can be made to reduce risk of developing gastric cancer? Yeah. What lifestyle changes can be made? Yeah.
Yeah, so the lifestyle changes, we usually, when we talk about lifestyle, there are 6 things to consider. However, I'll just touch on 2 things for this discussion, one of which is nutrition.
Okay.
So we're looking at foods that are really high in salt, foods that are preserved via the salt preservation means. So one would have to reduce eating foods that are high in salt, and also smoked foods. Okay, reducing the intake of smoked foods because these tend to incite some kind of inflammation in the stomach repetitively, and over time it can lead to the formation of the CA. Also, eating a diet that is very poor in fiber, i.e., eating a low vegetable/fruit diet can also put a person at risk.
Okay. What about oily foods? What about oily foods?
Oily foods.
Yeah.
So, as a rule of thumb, it is really important that a person have a healthy person, okay, without any dietary limitations or dietary prescriptions. It's imperative that nobody actively seeks food with oil to eat because there are specific cancers that are linked to specific dietary patterns.
Okay.
It's all the way at the genetic level and also at the local level where the oil, which we call lipids, tend to affect the flora, which are the bacteria in whether it's the stomach or the gut. Okay, the bacteria tend to metabolize these lipids into some other chemicals. Over time, it can actually incite some kind of a cancer pathway.
Okay. Right. So after a person or a patient has been diagnosed of gastric cancer, what are some of the measures put in place for the person?
How exactly do you mean?
Okay, so for instance, I am a patient diagnosed of gastric cancer. What are some of the things?
No, you are not the patient.
Someone has been diagnosed of gastric cancer. What are some of what are some of the procedures put in place to clear? Does it go within a period of time, or you just live with it and then you manage it?
No, so once the person is diagnosed, there are specific things that are done to work the patient up for the specific therapy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it all depends on the stage, and we have different staging systems. And based on the stage and the type of stomach cancer, the person might need a surgical approach, whether it's laparoscopic, where the camera is passed through into the abdomen and the surgery is performed in this minimally invasive manner. Okay. Or through open surgery, which is usually more appropriate. And so the stomach, part of the stomach or the whole stomach is cut out. Okay. And then there are links. So maybe the upper part of the stomach or the upper or the lower esophagus is connected to a part of the intestine. There are different surgical approaches, but then depending on the type of tumor and the stage, the person might need also chemotherapy, where the chemotherapy might be administered before the surgery to down stages, perform the surgery and then continue chemotherapy afterwards, or the person might need chemotherapy after the surgery. There are some types of disease that require only some kind of chemotherapy. Okay. And then there is also the radiotherapeutic approach where the person would need to go to radio-oncology where they use radiation to as part of the treatment modality. And right now we even have some new treatments on the market, so we call immunotherapy, which also seems to have good results.
All right. So, doctor, please, your final words.
Yeah, my final words. African germs do kill, and I want everyone to take this seriously. Okay. Hygiene is a serious thing. Food hygiene is a serious thing, and I wouldn't want anyone to play with the food hygiene. We all remember that ad where a woman was pounding fufu and there was this purple stuff. She went
Yes.
to use the restroom, and when she came back, there was this purple stuff all over the food.
Yes.
And that represented contamination.
Okay.
It's really important that we wash our hands before we eat. We always eat food. We purchase food from a clean environment, that's prepared in a clean environment. Also, if you can make your own food, that's great.
Okay.
And let's take it seriously. And people should not be shamed for eating well or for sticking to good food hygiene.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on the show to speak to us. In as much as you weren't able to
thanks for
come to
having
the
me.
studio. Thank you so much. And that's all I have for you on today's lifestyle segment. Up next is the birthday segment.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Welcome back, and it's time for the birthday segment. I'm so happy about this segment because I get a chance to celebrate a lot of people through my speaking and also to celebrate their birthdays with them. And on our first birthday celebrant, this is from Irama to Millicent. She says, "Happy birthday, cousin. May the Lord bless you and keep you safe." From Irama to Millicent, happy birthday, cousin. May the Lord bless you and keep you safe. This is from Love. She says, "Happy birthday, Mr. Lavi. Wishing you a day filled with joy, laughter, and all the love bring to those around you. You are wonderful, brother, and I'm so grateful. May this year bring you endless blessings, success, and happiness. To you, Mr. Lavi." The next one is from Felixa to Christy, and she says, "Happy birthday, Christy. Wishing you a day filled with love, laughter, and all the joy your heart desires. May this year bring you endless blessing, beautiful memories, and dream come true." This is also from Felixa to Darius, and it says, "Happy birthday, Darius. Wishing you a day filled with joy, laughter, and all the things that makes you happy. May this year bring you success, love, and unforgettable memories. Enjoy your day." Okay. I have one online, and it says, "Happy birthday to you." From Jessica, she says, "Happy birthday to you. May God bless you abundantly." From Nana of GH Arrow Productions, he says, "Happy birthday to you. May God bless you abundantly." And that's all I have for you on today's birthday segment. Up next is the sports segment with Nana Yao Asari. Stay tuned.
CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.
Yes, this is Sports on Coco Digest. Good morning once again. My name is Nanaya Osari. As always, it's a pleasure coming to your homes, coming to your screens, coming on your phones to bring you the best in the world of sports. And now let's take a look at the stories that are making up the headlines. They say that Kofi Adams approved as Minister of Sports and Recreation by Parliament. The story says that GFA spokesperson reveals uncertainty over GPL return. And then the third one says court restricts movement of Nswatriman owner in Kotoko murder investigation. Our last story is that Ghana football is facing difficulties. This is by Haruna Idrisu. Now let's have the stories in detail. Kofi Adams has been approved as Minister of Sports and Recreation by Parliament. This says Kofi Idi Adams as the new Sports and Recreation Minister following a thorough debate and voting process. Adams, a former national organizer of the NDC, aims to revitalize the sports sector and promote recreational activities. He replaces Mustafa Yusuf, who served from 2021 to 2024 with a background in education and politics. Adams has experience as a tutor and as a spokesperson for former President Jerry John Rawlings. Now, in our next story is GFA spokesperson, reveals uncertainty over GPL return date. Henry Asante Chum, as spokesperson for the GFA, has discussed the suspension of the Ghana Premier League due to violent clashes between players, officials, and fans of Nswatriman FC and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The GFA aims to engage with the stakeholders to address the violence and develop strategies to prevent future incidents during this postponement. Now, looking to further on the same story, they say court has restricted movements. The court in Sunyani has granted bail to the former employment minister and Nswatriman FC owner Ignatius Bafuewa, but has restricted his travel, preventing him from leaving Sunyani as investigations continue into the death of a Kotoko fan. The court's decision includes travel limitations within the Sunyani municipality without judicial permission. The suspects appeared in court over the fatal clash that resulted in the death of Kumasi Asante Kotoko supporter during the match at Nswatre Professor Amwa Kramansa II Stadium. And then our last story says that Ghana football is facing difficulties. This is by Haruna Idrisu, Minister of Education. Haruna Idrisu has raised serious concerns about Ghana Premier League, particularly criticizing officiating as being at its poorest. As a football enthusiast and owner of Karela United and Steadfast FC, he has expressed worries about matchday 19 clash between Nswatriman and Kotoko on February 2nd, 2025, reflecting growing frustration among stakeholders over poor officiating that is discouraging fans and impacting the sport's reputation. It's also worthy of note that today marks 2 years since Ghanaian winger Christian Achu left us. So we'll keep his family and his friends and his immediate people around him in our thoughts and prayers. So I have with me today James Tay Bernard, who is a sports influencer and a blogger as well. I have with him here today stories that we've read. So you will let me have his thoughts on quite a few of the stories that we've talked about. James, you're welcome. Good morning once again.
Good morning. We are happy and grateful.
We are grateful indeed. So now, out of the stories that I read, which one has particularly caught your attention?
Thank you very much. I'll start with the Minister for Sports, Honorable Adams. Welcome him to the sporting facility, and I think it's a broad area or one aspect of our sports, which is football. We have so many things, management problems that we need to solve, and if the government do their things right, they are going to earn much when it comes to the football aspect. Because in 2021-2022 season in the UK, they earned almost about 4.1 billion just with
British
tax.
pounds.
Yeah, when it comes to only the Premier League in England. So if the government invest a lot of money in our football, they are going to earn a lot of money back. And if you go to Brazil, anytime they transfer a player from Brazil to Europe, the government have some amount of some percentage that they get from there. So he's welcome. He has a lot of work to do, and I think he should be up and doing. He should be listening to it, or he should join the forces of the FA, and he should do his work and do it very, very well. He should work very well for the nation.
So from the top of my head, what are some areas that you think he's going to tackle, not only in football, what are some of the areas that you think need urgent attention that he should pay attention to?
I'll go with boxing. We all know the likes of Azuma Nelson and what they've brought to us when it comes to boxing. They should go there. I think they are already doing a lot over there. They play boxing league. I think you should go there. I think they just ended All African Games. We have the likes of some few swimmers, and we gain some runners and all. So I think athletics too is one of the areas he can go in. It will bring us more medals, and when you go to the All African Games and any other games, it will bring us more medals.
All right, so he's just reiterating the fact that we need urgent attention when it comes to other areas of sports apart from football. And apart from that, which other one? Our league is in turmoil at the moment. We don't know when match day 20 is going to take place.
Yeah, because of the incident that happened in Swatre the last time, and it's very sad. I mean, we needed to do so many things when the May 9 disaster happened, and other different routes that has been going on in our football game. And I say, you see, we are not doing things right. We are not putting things in place that will bring the good side of our football. We have the talent, but when it comes to the management level, we are not doing enough to protect the talent that we have. So I think the problem that needs to be solved long time ago hasn't been solved, and it is coming back to us. So they should try and do things right so that we come back to the game.
Well, finally, coming to our league once again, we've gone to boxing and all that, we return back to our league. Haruna Idrisu has said that stakeholders of football people are no longer sort of following with that kind of interest because of the level of officiating when it comes to the Ghana Premier League. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Officiating has always been one of our major problems when it comes to our local league. And you say when we need to invest more into our referees, because when I'm a referee and I'm going to a match venue that I need to pay my own transportation fee and wherever I'm going to sleep. I think when any of football owners come to me and try to give me one or two things just to make me feel comfortable, when the day is due for me to go and officiate, I'll really be a little bit biased, and it is spoiling our game. So his part, Haruna does his part. He owns a club, and he also needs to work very well as a owner, because I think last time he got about 7.9 million from Fatal Isaku still.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think they are all part of the problem. They need to come on board and their voices together so that we can fix our football. All
right, so you're hearing it here. They need to come on board and fix our problems. This is coming from James Ty Bernard, who is a sports influencer and then also a sports blogger and an influencer for sporting brands. A lot of them. We'll just mention a few of them. So will you mention just one or two?
Yes, Jeddah Sports on Facebook, and then on IG, and then Jeddah Get Fit as usual. And not forget to start our podcast very soon.
Oh, okay.
Jeddah Hub on YouTube, so they should stay tuned.
Nice. So yes, you heard it from him here first on CLOG Sports, on Coco Digest morning show. Sorry, I beg your pardon. It's been a pleasure coming to you. This is how we wrap up sports on Coco Digest this morning. My name once again is Nanayo Asare.
This is the main segment of the Cocoa Digest morning show here on CLOG TV. We are talking about domestic violence and abuse. Let me give you a small background on domestic violence in Ghana. According to the Ghana Statistical Service 2021 survey, more than 28.4% of women aged 15 and 49 years experience one form of intimate partner violence. The figure shows a 5.4 decrease from the 2008, and so the need to speak about this to help curb their violence soon more. And to help us to discuss this, we have in the studio a deputy director, the head of unit from the social welfare department, in the person of Victoria Bishop Adigbo. Did I get it right?
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you, and thanks for doing this with us.
Okay.
All right, let's start. Can we know what domestic violence is?
Okay, so domestic violence is any kind of violence that happens in the domestic setting, that is our home. Yes, and it can be between partners. It can be between a father and children, or mother and children. So within the family setting.
And what are the forms of these violence?
Okay, so we are looking at the physical violence, then psychological violence, then economical violence, and sexual violence.
Sexual violence, yeah? Right, so violence and abuse, is there any distinction?
Oh, I think there's a thin line between, just a thin line. Abuse is the behavior, somebody using the behavior or influence to actually cause harm repeatedly. And violence is almost the same, but where we see some inflictions, of injuries and a whole lot of things. Of course, some of the injury may not be physical, they may be psychological.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are the head of units for the social welfare department, right? And I want to know what fueled your passion to be dealing with survivors of domestic violence.
Okay, so before I continue, I would like to mention what our mission is, and then the vision. The mission is a socially developed Ghana, where everybody is developing, families are happy. And then our vision is to integrate vulnerable people. Everybody can be vulnerable at a point in time. And domestic violence is one area which can make somebody, vulnerable. So the disadvantaged, the aged, elderly, and persons with disabilities. So we have that mandate, right from the establishment of the department. So the mandate actually is why we are actually in existence. So we provide welfare services to these victims. We provide counseling to them.
That's the social welfare.
Yes, and psychosocial support, and then investigate more to know.
We'll get
what
to the
issues.
social welfare. I just want to know whether working with as a passion, is a calling like that of a pastor, because you have to get the passion or love the job before you enter into it. Is that the case?
Yes, just like any other job or what we find in books, you should have an interest for your career choice, because every profession goes with certain, guidelines. So you should first have an interest. So there should be a passion. We have a passion for it, to be in social welfare is a choice. For the staff being there, yes.
So let's get to social welfare. I know we have DOFSU and we have social welfare. Can you tell us the difference?
Okay, so the DOFSU the police have the DOFSU wing, wing of domestic violence, and then let me say the ministry through the departments also have the domestic violence wing, okay, because we complement, you know, each other when it comes to synergies. So for example, if the police receive cases and they look at the criminal aspect, then they refer to social welfare for the social aspect, so that we can find solution to what actually drove, you know, the issue of violence. And more often it has to do with more of family welfare issue, more of relationship, where we will bring in counseling and many other interventions.
Okay, but there are
so we play
the role,
different roles when it comes to domestic violence.
Okay.
Social welfare has a role to play, and then the police also has a role to play, and many other are in the domestic violence settings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I should get you right, there's a collaboration between you and DOFSU.
That's right.
So when the case comes, it goes directly to DOFSU first?
So yes, so this one, it depends on what information the clients have, or the victim of domestic violence have, okay. If really it has to do with physical abuse, there is so much trust in the police, and so straight away they go there, or straight away the police intervenes, okay. So when they handle their aspect, then they refer to us, so that we actually complete the process of the cause of domestic violence, some of which may be moving forward. We will
delve into that.
We'll delve into
so
that.
There are some misconceptions. Sometimes people say people who are being up is being done to them. Some people say they like the drama of it. With your years of experience with victims and survivors, do you think this misconception is right, or that is true?
Well, I don't see how somebody would love enjoying some form of abuse.
Okay.
Of course, if you love it, then it's a matter of choice. But the moment the situation gets to a state institution for an intervention, there is nothing like somebody love it. The person needs help. So in our case, I haven't seen anybody confess, or even by observation, that those who love it, I'm sure they don't complain. They don't even come to. Yeah, some people too. They don't have
time. You can't endure it again. To someone.
Yeah. So it's either they don't even know where to go.
Okay.
To actually report it, and then maybe that would be one of
or trust issues. Maybe me telling you this, you might escalate.
Yes, and so, you might escalate it. People don't even want a lot of people to know. That in itself is a big issue, because if you are going through something and you don't want to discuss it because maybe you think the source of your livelihood will actually, go away, it's a whole lot of big issue. So then we look at empowerment of whichever spouse is undergoing the domestic violence. Some of which, if it is a child, of course, then somebody will report, and then we actually look at how to actually treat the situation for on behalf of the child.
Okay, so some of the violence you've occurrence over the years, what are some of the violence you've witnessed or heard, stories you've heard?
Violence?
Yes.
On stories?
Stories about concerning or pertaining to domestic violence. Social welfare deals with that, right?
Yes. So it has to do with emotional violence. Okay, yes, because maybe a spouse is actually complaining of, the constant, verbal abuse, and then wherever he or she find himself in the midst of family, it happens in marital relationship. Okay, so we see emotional abuse, we see, physical abuse where injuries are inflicted, and then the economic violence, where it has to do with the financial aspect, family non-maintenance, and all of.
All right, so I'm very interested in the economic aspect because in a family, to take care of a child, for instance, it takes two to tango. So if you are in or you've reported me to social welfare because I'm not taking or doing my part, and you are not doing your part, you expect one person to take care. At what extent do you seem or deem the situation fit for a social welfare discussion?
Okay, so for a case to be referred or for a walk-in, okay, it means that something has escalated. And that is why the individual may want our services. Okay. So when they come in, then we actually look at what is the complaint. Okay, why do you think whatever you are receiving or not receiving, whatever you are receiving is not enough, or receiving at all? Okay, so we look at all those things, and together with the client, we arrive at a reasonable decision. I hope I've answered.
Yes, but if there's no child in this marriage or partnership, do they still complain? Do you have complaints about economic domestic violence? Okay, so if there is no, that is, it's not common. It's not common. Yes, okay. It's not common. But the economic aspect comes where there are children. Okay. That needs to be catered for. And where there are no children, then of course we provide the counseling for the other party who aim to have engaged in some kind of, livelihood, program. Yes, so you don't depend so much on the other spouse. All right. Yeah. So social, are you on the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection? Yes. Okay. All right. So we are a department under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. All right. Okay. Let's move on with our conversation. Okay, so can you highlight some social welfare things that create, okay, let me put this right. Do you engage in awareness campaigns? And yes. When do you do it, if you do? Okay, so we engage in awareness campaign. It takes two forms. It takes the individualized, campaign with a given theme, and then let's say the public, the mass, campaign. And so we have our calendar events oftentimes that the theme. We actually engage families, advise them for them to be responsible and then be aware of the emerging, social issues, okay, which may be common or sometimes uncommon, and it is actually individualized in the households. Okay. Thereby talking of corrections as early as possible as you actually detect certain, things. Because I'm talking about this awareness because if you don't tell them to what extent they can run to your office? At any point in time, they may run to your office.
Yes.
So what's month or what period do you engage? Is it something you do frequently?
Okay, so we go with the global
That's
calendar.
October.
Yes,
October.
yes, and the global
Domestic
theme.
violence awareness.
Okay, I'm looking at social welfare.
Okay.
Mhm. And so we celebrate and we organize. It's a whole week-long activity, okay, that we do before there is a climax. And it's still a campaign on some of our family issues, including domestic violence. Yes, so I believe the police also have their own, campaign themes running, and when they also do it, because we are partners and many other actors come on board to support the celebration. Because almost every time there is some form of sensitizations and then education that goes on with domestic violence, and then our role.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aside the campaign, can you highlight some of the things you do under social welfare again?
So that is the individualized, sensitization. Specifically, some of the things we do how?
Your mandates. You mentioned your mandates earlier, like the things you do, what you stand for, your core values, the core values of a social welfare. What actually do you do? What are your duties or responsibilities?
To the public?
Yes.
Or on domestic?
To the public. To the public.
So our area is, integrating issues, people with vulnerable issues. Okay. So once you are faced with issues of vulnerability, then there is a need for something. And so we do advocacy also. Advocacies on emerging issues. Then we liaise also with other NGOs. We partner, so they can also be supporting with. Of course, we have a principle of confidentiality, and so when people are coming on board, there is no fear. You see people come, and sometimes they don't even want you to see their face. But then, how do you even identify the person and really relate to in a subsequent visit? Okay, so we highlight on those things as one of a major principle, and confidentiality, the self-determination. We don't impose. Okay, So depending on the angle it is coming from, whether from the angle of domestic violence or we supporting victims of domestic violence, we do some form of, education.
Okay. I want to delve a bit into the support aspect. If I come to you that probably my spouse has beaten me and you want to move me out of the house, do you have accommodation or shelters where I can lodge in for the time being till the case is stabilized or something?
Okay, so it is not the issue that we want to move you.
Okay.
Is it that you want to step out of that environment? Okay, So we cannot force to move you out, but when you are willing, then so then what you are talking about is about shelters for victims of domestic violence, and I keep saying that what we have, shelters as is a temporary place of stay. So as and when there is a call for it, okay, then we make provisions. But basically, for an adult to report seriously a domestic violence issue and you need a shelter, then the appropriate place is the police. Okay, you contact them, and then where we come in is to look at human relationship, other family support, other relationship that you can fall in together with you. We agree. So if you have to move to a cousin's, place, and that support is there within the extended family or a friend, so that human relationship, we investigate to find out whether those alternatives are actually there. But where it's critical, then shelters, like we always say, they are inadequate, and probably there has to be some discussion, because we also don't want to encourage institutional care. Otherwise, people knowing that you get number of people wanting to get in there. So it is tactfully managed. Yes.
All right. So domestic violence and survivors is a sensitive area, of course. And I want to know how you take your workers through training. What are the processes to be able to handle victims of such?
Okay. So for training, so then we are talking of a workforce training, the social workforce training. And so when you are employed, because you are in social welfare, you learn on the job. Okay, first of all, there is an orientation that goes on. Then the School of Social Work is also there. We run, short courses on social work. So within the short courses, how to take care of, victims of domestic violence. If not specifically mentioned, you still acquire the skill and then the knowledge to actually manage such people. Yes, we manage the psychological trauma which is resulting out of the abuse together as a decision. Because if the client is so self-determined that I really want to move out, or I need some kind of help, then we agree on what to do, what will help your emotional imbalance. If you have to move out to a place, we do that.
So are you saying you train your workers so well that they can handle people who are survivors? Because some people emotionally and psychologically, they are not fit. If you want to speak to them, they won't agree. So
if you want to
speak to them, like solicit information, what really happened, you have to can them, you have to lure them
before. Yes. So it's a profession, and you are trained to do that. Mind you, before you are even helped, when you don't provide information, then the person trying to help you cannot really help. But of course, maybe the client might have gone through some kind of trauma, psychological trauma. So it's a matter of time. Apart from us, where there is a need for us to refer to see a clinical, psychologist, we do that. To adults, but to some children as well. Yeah, refer to clinical psychologists.
Then times we used to hear social welfare, like everywhere we get to, we hear social welfare. Does it mean that the issues we had at first have reduced and therefore people are not hearing from you, or you are not making people known, or you are not making yourselves known, if I should put it that way?
So it means that if I clearly understood you, you want to say that formally there was greater awareness.
Yes,
okay.
We hear
and this time
about social welfare.
And this time, what is happening?
We don't hear about social welfare.
You don't hear about social welfare. Social welfare is there.
It's active.
Yes, it's so active. It's so active. Our awareness creation. Maybe we need to bring on board some other new techniques, in the system, to do some professional, broadcasting having in mind our principle of confidentiality. So we know what, it's not everything we actually put in the public because of confidentiality. So we know what to put. And so we bring some new things in board, and all of you can also bring some new ideas.
So it's not like the percentage of domestic violence victims have reduced or something. The cases haven't reduced.
Yeah, so I cannot give a general view. I can only speak on what we have actually encountered. Okay. So domestic violence, a lot of people don't even want, people to get into their issues much. But for those who, with the awareness creation, together with the effort of the are working in God, the least thing you see that the Dopsu station is actually jammed, then eventually they refer and those social aspects of it too. So the awareness creation is there. A lot of people know about it, but of course we will actually heighten it. Yes,
all right, because
not social welfare alone, but all the other stakeholders involved. A lot of processes are ongoing for education, for awareness creation.
Okay, because I said that because when you watch TV, there's a show hosted by Antina, and it's about social welfare, domestic violence, and all that. But people find it so okay to sit on television and talk about it. So how do you make these people come to you privately so you can tackle the issue from there and publicly as they are doing?
Yes. So it's all there. We are actually hovering around the awareness creation, which is ongoing. Somebody may choose to come to social welfare, and somebody will also choose to go to Antenna.
You think they maybe you don't have the solution they wanted?
But what specialized solution does she provide? It is purely social welfare thing. Okay, yes. So if you think you want to, would you like to go and sit in public and talk about it? You wouldn't like that, yes.
But if I want to disgrace the other person, I will go.
But you two, you are somehow, for you to even show yourself and then ask all of, answer all of those questions. If you think it's a but it will be it will be our thing that, okay, if you have such issues, you should come to us. Mind you, we get a lot of cases still coming.
Okay.
Those issues are increasing. And so what it means is that we will have to do a lot more sensitization so that families take up full responsibilities, and then move away from any form of domestic violence, so you are not disgraced on sets.
But does the social welfare of Ghana have issues? Do you have challenges?
Challenges. As for challenges, when any organization is, very well resourced, then you can you can work more.
So are you saying you are
so we are resource, but okay, we need add-ons to make the work much more super for the vulnerable, citizens to be happy, to be satisfied by getting adequate, service. When I say adequate service, then somebody will say, is it inadequate or something? By getting quality, let's say quality and the comprehensive, of course we are doing it, but it should be heightened.
So if someone watching us right now is experiencing some sort of domestic violence, what are the steps the person would take to come to you?
Okay. So when you are experiencing domestic violence, you first will have to walk into a social welfare for you to lodge your complaint, and then for officers to even identify that the case you are registering is a domestic violence. Okay. So when you begin it, then we know which form of it, where we have to handle it. If it has to do with economic violence, okay, then straight away we begin to handle it. And when I say economic violence, we are looking at the issues of family, non-maintenance, and other issues, custody, and
Oh, you deal with custody too?
We deal with family welfare issues.
Family welfare issues,
yes,
okay.
Yes. So family, as part of the, let me say, family welfare issues, we have the non-maintenance issues, we have the custody issues, we have the access and all of that. Of course, if somebody is denied access, it has some form of ecological,
What do
trauma.
you mean by denied access?
In the context of children.
Okay.
Speaking from the perspective of my unit, okay? So there is a form of an inherent violence that happens to the person emotionally. Do you get it? I want to have access to my children.
Oh, okay. That's the custody aspect.
That's the access aspect. So where it is directly an intervention which will come from social welfare, when you lodge your complaint, then we give you date, okay, for us to sit together and then agree on something. That is where the professional social work comes in. But where the police will have to intervene because of some kind of physical abuses and all of that, we refer them to the police, and eventually when they deal with the case, because no matter what, like I said, the root of most domestic violence issue has to do with family welfare services. As I mentioned, the non-maintenance issues, the custody issues. I want my child, I want this, I want this, I want this.
Non-maintenance is which one?
So the non-maintenance issue has to do with the remittances for education, for food, and many more. Education for food, that is that aspect, yes. Then the custody distance. So I want to have my child with me almost all the time, or I want to have access to my children. These somehow are the root causes of the domestic violence, because that then it generates heated arguments, it generates into assault and serious issues. And so, where the assault comes in, we refer for the police to look at the criminal aspects, assault and this thing. Then eventually they will come to us. Because there's no domestic violence issue, especially when it comes to the physical abuses, that doesn't have any relationship thing underneath.
Okay.
Certainly there is something, there is a family welfare issue which may not necessarily fall within our category, but we still actually manage the situation. Where it doesn't fall within our classification, then we refer to the appropriate unit.
So at what point in time court issues come in?
Okay. So court issues where we have intervened, and then the parties are showing some difficulties of agreeing to their decision. Remember, we don't impose, and so we will just tell you that, okay, if you don't want the continuation of social welfare intervention, there is another, state institution that can help. So it depends on the complexity of the case and then the understanding of the parties involved. Then we will complete the process or refer you to the family tribunal court.
All right. That's a lot of lessons learned in there, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you don't have any financial difficulties, right, as a unit? If someone wants to support social welfare, you don't have anything to
So
say.
if you want to support social welfare, family issues or social welfare issues or social developed issues never ends. They are unending. And so you what you have, you use it, but you still will need resources. So if you want to donate something, you can still come ahead to donate to governments, because we represent government, so that other people will use it for other, vulnerable group.
Okay.
Or let's say it complements government's efforts. So we are all partners. It can be an organization or it can be an individual that wants to partner and has an interest of vulnerable people, at heart.
Okay. How do you reach out to the rural areas, I should say? Most of these things occur there, and they feel like they've been neglected by the ministries. But social welfare, I think you have so much you are doing, and I want you to highlight them for our viewers to know.
Okay, so when you talk of the rural areas, currently as we sit, social welfare is decentralized. Mm-hmm. And so the regional offices, social welfare offices, and the district offices are under Ministry of Local Government. Ministry of Local.
Can you come again with that?
Yes. So social welfare is decentralized. So the district, the regional, and the district social welfare offices are under the Ministry of Local Government. Yes, because whatever problem there is in a community or in a district is within the local government grassroots. So depending on what is at stake, the rural people will have to come to report to the office, and then they can be helped. Or sometimes our programs get to them.
Okay.
Gets to the rural communities, because sometimes people wouldn't even have whatever the transportations to even come for the interventions and all of that. Okay. So we reach out to them. I don't know what extent you may or people may give to it, but we try to reach out, and if there is anything, it will be heightened.
Okay, so social welfare issues are very sensitive, and especially people suffering domestic violence. They are almost, if I should say, if you don't help the situation, will end up losing their lives. So I want to thank you so much, but I want you to give out your contact in case someone want to refer a case to you and all that. How can they reach out to you?
Oh, okay. So let me see. I want to give the office number. I'm not too, but my
That's
contact
fine.
is 0244 01 8857.
Can you repeat that?
So 0244 01 8857.
Are your services free?
Yes, our services are free.
Free of charge.
Yes, our services are free. But if you to help other vulnerable group, or let's say vulnerable person, and you come and you wish to give something to us, it doesn't matter
Like
whether it's a token.
I bring it to you, and after that, I have to give you something just to take care of others.
Oh no, it's not the way you ask that. Our services are free. It's free. It's free. We are government institution.
So
it's free.
Can walk
so
into
anybody can walk into the office and then access that service
Okay.
So it is actually free.
I see you want us to get the number of the office as well.
Yeah.
Have
So
you been able to get that?
please, so 0244,
Okay.
that is my contact still, 0244 01 857.
All right. So if you are
0244.
experiencing any form of domestic violence, you
Let
can
me
contact
add
these
this,
numbers. All right. You have
Have a toll-free number also at the Orange Center. That is the domestic violence unit for the ministry.
Okay.
So you can also call that number. I think mainly you can
you
call.
have a website, right?
Yes, but let me give this hotline,
Okay.
so that because this one is my personal line.
That's fine.
So it's 0800
Okay.
111 222. 0800 111 222.
Okay.
So this center receives a lot of, calls on domestic violence, which has its root from family welfare services. So they also provide the necessary service and then do the appropriate referrals. And do the appropriate referral. That's the hotline, 0800 111 222.
All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have more.
CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.
I welcome you back to the main segment of the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. We are talking about domestic violence and abuses. So you would want to join in the conversation at this point in time. You can call in and you can also send your messages to our social media platforms, YouTube and Facebook. We'll do well and read those messages. Before I go on, we move on with the rest of our conversation. As we wrap up, let's take some birthday wish. Happy birthday to you, my dear Helena, knowing you have been a blessing unto me and the society. You are a woman with a good heart, and may the good Lord grant you greater success. Into your heart's is access. This is from Clement to Helena, okay? So those are messages we missed from the lifestyle segment. We are still talking about domestic violence. Send in your comment, which I have a couple of them. The first comment is saying, in a case where a wife is abused, does she go to the police first or the social welfare? I think you've spoken about this, but I want you to highlight on that again.
So if a wife is abused, the first point of call should be the police. You go there and then they begin to treat you. When I say treatment, every service has various treatment options when it comes to domestic violence or anything. And so they will have their treatment options or something to prove further. Then, where there is a need for them to refer you to social welfare, then they refer. Because when they probe, then they know that, okay, there is an element of one of our welfare issue, other welfare underneath as a root. Okay. So if it so happen, then they will refer you to, then we also begin to give our treatments with our case management. Yeah.
Okay. The second one says, Miss Beaches, some women like drama. At times, if their husband don't beat or abuse them a bit, they find it awkward. Take the famous footballers Kaka divorce case as an example. I don't know who he is, but I'm sure there was a kind of abuse there. The wife left him because she termed him perfect. She termed him perfect.
She termed
him, the abuser, perfect.
So perfect in what? In abusing or what?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe perfect abuser or something. Yes. So the early is that the woman likes that one.
That's maybe emotional
now,
abuse.
That's emotional abuse. So she couldn't stand it anymore. Okay. And so decided to leave. Or maybe a perfect abuser, but I don't know, she decided to leave. And it is the best option because when you are going through those, trauma or those
okay,
abuses.
so Alex Kaka didn't abuse her, but Kaka was too good for her. That's the cause of the too perfect. That's the perfect.
Too perfect man.
For her.
No abuse.
That's why the divorce.
Okay. So this one is not a problem.
Yes, this one
she doesn't like it.
So within such cases, you can't bring it to
no. This one is too perfect. Then but that should be good. But she. Okay, so again, it means that she's used to some kind of relationship, and one, it's not existent. But this is supposed to be a negative thing. Okay, and so that is maybe her joy that she wants to go away from the man. So it's okay.
All right. So another person, Ogatimi, says, nice one, guys. People love the conversation, so I think we should be having more of this.
Okay.
Kaka was a perfect gentleman. We want to correct that. And the wife is saying he was too perfect. The man was so perfect. All right. So let's see. What are your takeaways if someone is being abused now, what are your takeaways for the person? What are your advices for the person?
Okay, so if someone is being abused, okay, some of the abuses, it doesn't, start thing, okay, but it grows. And so the earlier you see signs of it, not because at the early stages it's not hurting in any form, whether emotional or something, you should know that whatever is going on can grow. And so you nick it at the bud. You correct it. You don't even have to think that it's a joke, because when it aggravates, that is when you will be feeling it. And corrections becomes very difficult. Correction becomes very difficult.
So it starts from somewhere.
So it starts from somewhere. It starts from somewhere. So you are in a relationship and already the man is using some kind of languages on you, or some light, pattern and all of that. You see that this one is a provocative one, but it's just the onset of it, okay? And you think it's okay. Or you see, because I love, even when he doesn't give me the money maintenance thing to take care of.
So I think these are displays of some sort of abuses.
Yes.
You can speak to that.
Yes. So let me finish with the economic aspect.
Okay.
He doesn't give me for the single child I have for now. It's okay, I can manage it. But you are in the marriage and you'll be having more. And so then it becomes the thing. You should be able to speak to prevent it. And that is where we come in here. Prevention. And that's the education we are doing here. You see it, you have to correct it. If you have to do it gently, it's okay. However you do it, very polite, because it's still a marital relationship or any form of relationship. You nick it right from the bud, because it can grow. And when it grows up to that level, where now as domestic violence, then it has become overwhelming. But you control it right away from the beginning, so that it wouldn't get to a serious domestic violence, element. To be something small, because you are caution, both of you have caution yourself. This one, I don't like it. So you nick it from the bad. It's just like training your own child. And you think, oh, it's my child, I'll keep quiet. It turns out to be a very bad behavior. You see, our definition of abuse is a behavior, someone who is exerting some kind of aggressive behavior and influencing the other party, okay, and it affects that party negatively, or it harms that party. So when you see a negative thing, it's negative. It can grow, so you nick it at the back. Now, when you are there for a response, not prevention, but a response, then quickly rush to social police DOFSU. We work together. You rush to the police so that they will look at you, or you rush to social welfare. Then we listen to you and we see how best we can help you.
But
so
have you had any case whereby a woman abuses a man? Have you had cases of such sort?
Oh, that is there.
It is there.
Yes, that is there. Yes.
I see. So when children are being abused, do they come to you as well? Do you witness such cases of children being abused?
Yes. So normally with the children, one of the spouses walk in. That is when it's overwhelming to actually report the issue, or anybody around the neighborhood report. Sometimes we have even teachers, school teachers, into social welfare, because the child is in class and the child is not responsive enough. Is either sleeping or might have noticed some bruises and it's not coming from the school. So what is it? We have a case like that. It was the father that actually used, very abused the children very, severely, okay? But it was a school teacher and a mistress that reported the case, and they were rescued. So these things are there. When it is too much before people actually, yes.
With children, lately children are lazy. If you oversend them, or if you ask them to do something, they might think you are abusing them, and therefore they would want to report you. So at what extent? I was staying with someone and I felt the person was abusing me. Until now, I'm seeing, okay, what the person was doing to me has shaped me to who I am today. Okay. I felt the person was abusing me. So at what point can we say a child is being abused?
At what point? So then we'll be looking at the extent. When a child is, when it's becoming a negative impact on the child, or is having a negative impact on the child.
So me sleeping in class, the person woke me up around 3 to fetch water and all that.
Slightly. Slightly
I should have reported.
The moment you're having some feeling, you see, feelings just don't come like that, Example I'm giving was a real physical abuse. Okay, yeah. So the parent caned the children. You see bruises and all of that.
That's extreme.
To that extreme, it's happening in homes. Your own child, especially when you have a lot of children. That alone is too much stress, because this one is coming with his or her own idea, plus your own work that you have done and you have come, and then it's a whole lot of so those ones too are there. So children can also equally, I know culturally they will say that but any form of domestic violence being inflicted on an adult or a child can or should be reported to social welfare and then to the police.
So I want to remind viewers that our phone lines are active. You can call in, or you can send your not able to call in. But this is time for calling in. You can talk to her directly, ask her questions, and she will find answers to that. So please do well. And we have some few minutes to wrap up this conversation. So you would want to take the opportunity to call in now. I want to ask, you said you give psychological therapies, right?
Yeah, no, so we give psychosocial and counseling. We counsel. We actually provide counseling to our clients
to stabilize.
Yes, as part of our case management, because for them to even come with a particular problem, you could see what has already gone on psychologically, and then all of that. Yeah.
Domestic violence. So, Ministry of Gender and Social Welfare, we know now, are you funded by the ministry? Government funds social.
So the ministry is our mother ministry. We are under the ministry. Every ministry have agencies. So Department of Social Welfare is under the ministry. And so whatever funding is given to the ministry, it is, actually shared to to the other departments.
All right. I see people are calling on the WhatsApp number. Please don't call on the WhatsApp number. The number is being displayed on the screen. Call that. I know you have information for our guest. Please call and use the opportunity now before we wrap up. So please call the number displayed on your screen, 0500 500 423. 0500 500 423. We'll be giving you some minutes to make your call ends. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, so I'm saying that we are under the ministry, and so if the ministry receives some budgetary allocation, all the departments under the ministry get their share. Yes, as to adequacy or whatever, that one I cannot speak
so that
much
is
to it.
Ministries and social welfare. How about DOFSU and social welfare? What kind of link? Do you have partnership, or what exactly is there? Is there a collaboration or what?
Yeah, so it's a collaboration, or let's say still collaboration is partnership, because of the kind of service we render. At each point in time within the social service sector, one actor has a role to play, and then the other from there, let's say, so the supply chain of services. When social welfare finishes and you don't have that capacity, but another agency has a capacity, being it government or non-government, we do refer. So when the police finishes, then they finishes with their parts of service, they must refer to us. And so we are all complementary service, we complement each other when it comes to the service delivery on social services, depending on which case is at hand. So in the case of the domestic violence, they will deal with the assaults where they have to do their caution, where they have to refer an abuser to court or something. They will do it, to court for the law to deal with that person. They will do it. Then, because they have spoken enough, they have investigated, and they saw that the root has a welfare link, then they will refer to us. So the welfare link comes, and then it is something that we can manage within social welfare. If it has to do with, I told you, non-maintenance or those custody which has links, it is that which generated into the serious criminal thing. Then we handle.
Where so there's a caller on the line. I'm not cutting you. Let's listen to him quickly. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining in the show. What do you have to submit? We lost that caller. So, sorry. Please do call again. He's still on the line. Hello, sir. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello, good morning.
Please go ahead with your submission.
All right.
Hello, good morning. I think we lost that caller. So you've spoken about ministries, social welfare. We know there's a strong correlation there. You've spoken about DOFSU or the police, Ghana Police Service, DOFSU, then social welfare. How about the courts and social welfare?
So within the court, we are all actors within the social service delivery and then domestic violence. So where we have to refer a case to the court, And in this case, if it is domestic violence, chances are that it will go to the circuit court because that is a criminal court. So most often the police do that referral to the circuit court for proper justice, administration on the perpetrator of the violence. So we still have the relationship. When it comes to our side, we will refer to family tribunal, the family tribunal court. That very thing which caused the custody issues, and maybe we are doing it and then the people are not agreeing, they don't want to understand themselves, then go to the family tribunal court. Even within the family tribunal court, we have social welfare officers there. We call them the probation officers, who go to do investigations, write the social inquiry report based on a court order. So the court will order that investigation should be done so that it will help with the decision of who will have the custody, which is the one that fueled this whole violence situation because of disagreement, because of anger and all of that. Because I said, I want my child, but the children are for the two of you. So everybody should have, equal. All
right. So you mentioned investigation when it comes to the court. Doesn't mean the social welfare doesn't do investigation, but you refer the case to the court, right? So you might have done your checks before you transfer the case. Why do they have to still do investigations on the issue?
Yes. So we do our own investigations to help our decisions. That is in the separate social welfare unit. Okay. And like I said, if we are not reaching an agreement, then we will refer to the court. The moment the case leaves our premises, then it is in the jurisdiction of the court. Nothing you have done here with social welfare as maybe a unit somewhere will have to influence, because we have our presence there. Social workers are there. So they will want to start everything. Yes, for the client to, this is a different jurisdiction, and then everything is going to start afresh. Yes. So even when a client comes back to say that I need a report or what, we don't give it out. Do you understand? We don't give it out. So for example, my unit, if we did something on your case and we realize that it's difficult to understand, and maybe you want the social inquiry report that maybe we have done, or the investigations that we did, okay, you want a copy to take to the court. No, it doesn't happen, because we have social welfare there, and mainly the court they have their procedures, and they will want somebody who hasn't, a social worker who hasn't been part of the initial management, case management. That is why we send those social workers who are named probation officers to the court, so that everything are fresh.
So when there are cases and families and one partner says, I'm taking you to court, I'm taking you, can they directly go to the court and just report the case?
So they can directly go to the court.
Just like that.
It is not everybody. It's a process. It's it's a separate. It's a separate. That's judicial service, and they are there for that. And that is why we have family, different kind of courts operating within the system. And so depending on the particular need. So in our case of, I'll take you to court. I'll take you to court. Yes, you can go there. It must not necessarily be a referral from social welfare. You can go there straight, but you have to follow their process.
Let me cut you shortly. We have Lizzie on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Hi, thanks so much for
a father to leave his children in a room, lock the children in a room, and leave for school. So the children, the mother is dead. Is it right for a father to do that?
All right.
No,
Is it right?
no, yes, it's not right for a why will you even lock the children? Then it means that they don't even have their freedom to do that. If you are not ready and you don't have anybody to support their care, you don't have to go in for them. But you don't have to lock them in it's a form of abuse, you know.
Wow.
It's a form of abuse. Why? They can't even go out, even play on the corridor. It means you have left the children alone. And they should be under the supervision of a carer. So it is not right in the first place. It's not right.
But how many times should a parent not lock in the room? Because my dad has for once locked me in the room before because he wanted to go and buy something. So he locked me
No,
up.
so compared to her question, for her to even ask, then it means that the locking has become too much. So it is wrong.
It is wrong. So what should they do now?
So they can report it to social welfare or the police, because
that my dad
then
has
the
been
police locking you. But again, it will be probed but it's not good. It's not even good to lock the person. It's because you don't have somebody to supervise them whilst you are away. Okay, so get somebody, because that one is not any good thing. Anybody at all can report you. Anybody at all can report you.
So this brings us to the case of sensitization and creating awareness about some of these things, because I didn't know doesn't have the right to do that.
But why?
He wanted to go and get something, grab something, and there was nobody in the house to lock me up.
How old were you?
Let me see. In my teens.
Okay, so he locked you.
Yes.
You got to know that he locked you. Maybe he even forgot that he has. It wasn't intentional, because almost every time when he steps out, he locks the door.
Okay.
So
okay.
we cannot.
So the number of times will be probed into.
We need to know why.
Okay.
Then your dad issue doesn't even come in here at all.
He's not. All right. Okay. So people can go to the court, and a social welfare worker would handle their cases. And is there a possible way to refer them to you in the ministries? Because if they are able to handle it, then you wouldn't know of the case.
No, the question is this.
What is the umbrella? Social welfare ministries, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Under it is social welfare. Welfare is in the court. Social welfare comes in play when you go to the police station or DOFSU. Then you have social welfare in the district.
So the social welfare and the DOFSU, sometimes it is not in all places as we have here.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you have a social welfare office at a different place, and then another the police service at a different place. So when you need the services of the police, and then when they need their services, then we come. But we have it all in one, let me say, enclave or in one yard.
So social welfare, anywhere you see a social welfare worker is under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection.
So I earlier mentioned that now social welfare is decentralized.
Okay.
So we have the head office, as we know, under the civil service. Okay. Then the regions and the districts under the local government service.
Okay.
So regional social welfare office, district social welfare office is under the local government service. Yes, but the head office and the rest of the institutions which are under social head office is under civil service.
Okay. So where can they find you?
Okay, so our head office is just across the street. And then we have a unit within the ministry's police station. When you enter, social welfare is just is on the right side within the same yard. Then the police is on the left side. Dopsu is upstairs. You know, they are all police. So, yes.
All right, it's a wrap here. This is where we end our show. And we've been talking about domestic violence and abuses. And the woman, the smart, the knowledgeable personnel we brought on board today is Madam Victoria Bishop Adigbo. She is the Deputy Director of the Social Welfare Department and also the head of unit for the department. And we thank you so much. I say social welfare is your place to go, and I say that you reporting your case is a way to save you from death. So please, the numbers she mentioned, just contact the numbers, and will be very well. I'm sure they can help you. If they have to come to your house to see what is happening, they will do that. So thank you so much for time with us. My name is Beatrice Bampuado, and have a good day. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
CLOG TV. Beyond the policy.